Hey everyone! Today I am going to do the twin tag video. I got this video and the tag from Natalie. Her vlogs are Nat, Wes, and the rest. She has two twin boys and I have watched her since I found out I was pregnant with twins. So I just saw her do this tag a few weeks ago and I thought it'd be fun to do. I finally got around to watching the full video of hers and writing down the questions. Here are the questions and they're scribbled down because I was watching the video with my girls and trying to write down anything on a piece of paper with a pen with twins is impossible. So first question is, tell us about your twins and are they fraternal or identical? My girls, Grace and Violet, they are 14 months now, and they are fraternal. They were different sacs, two different placentas, and if you met them or watch our vlogs, you know that they are totally different. Not saying that identical twins aren't different either, but they have very different like look features and different personalities, and they are just totally different babies. So you can totally tell that they're fraternal. There's no question about it. Question 2. How far along were you when you found out you were having twins? What was your reaction? What was your husband's reaction? So I believe I was 12 or 13 weeks pregnant. I took the test, found out I was pregnant, and went to the doctor, and he said, we took my blood work and found out confirmed I was pregnant, and then he was like, we'll see you in 12 weeks. And then at 12 weeks, I went in to see him and did the checkup, and he listened for the heartbeat, and the heartbeat was really strong, and he was kind of questioning it, and he was asking me if my dates were right, and I said, yeah, like, I was positive. So he sent me for an early ultrasound, and I believe it was 12 to 13 weeks that I had the ultrasound done, and at the ultrasound, that is when we found out we were having twins. It was I knew as soon as the screen turned on because I saw like two something. Like, I've never been pregnant before. This is my first ultrasound, but I just knew. I knew. And my husband, it was funny because like before the ultrasound, he was saying like, I think you're gonna have twins, and like, we don't have twins right in our family. It was a total shock to us. So when we were at the ultrasound, the ultrasound tech, she's doing her thing, and then she kind of just stops, and she was asking us a few questions, and then she said to us, do you guys know that you're having twins? And I said no, and I started crying, and I said to my husband, like, we need a bigger car, we need a bigger house, and my husband just laughed because he kind of knew, and he was excited. And then our family's reactions, they were all shocked because like, we have no history of twins in the family, and it was just such a shock to find out that we were having twins. Question number 3. How was it carrying twins? Pros and cons. I loved being pregnant. It was my first time being pregnant. I never was concerned with like how big I was gonna get with having twins. That really never even crossed my mind. I was more worried about like the weight gain and stuff, which I think is with every pregnancy, not just with twins. So the pros of carrying twins, I think it was just same pros as being pregnant with a singleton. Like, everyone's nice to you and they're opening doors for you. Like, everyone loves a pregnant lady. Like, I loved dressing. Like, at the end, like a con at the end, I got uncomfortable. I got big. Sleeping was near impossible. I was peeing all the time. And yeah, like, it was just I really had the same, I think, pros and cons as any pregnant lady would. I don't really have anything specific to twins. By the end, like, people knew I was having twins because I was so big. Like, so many ladies were like, you must be having twins. So, like, people would just call me out on it because I was so big. And I never felt like I was that big. But looking back on pictures now, yeah, I was big. Question number 4. How many weeks were you when you delivered? Do you have a pic? I was 37 and 6 days when my water broke, but then I actually didn't deliver them till the next day, so I was 38 weeks to the day when I delivered them. And I do have a picture that I posted on Instagram. I think the picture was like 3 days before I ended up delivering them, and I will put the picture here for you guys to take a look at. And this is the picture that like everyone remembers and that I look back on and go, wow, I was really big. Question number 5. Tell us about your birth. How much did the twins weigh, and did you have a vaginal or C-section delivery? The birth was my least favorite part of the whole pregnancy. I loved being pregnant. I got excited when my water broke, and then as soon as we got to the hospital, everything kind of started going downhill. I think it set in that they were actually coming, and yeah. And then I just laid in the hospital for the next 24 hours. I really wanted to deliver them vaginally, and that was my goal with my OBGYN. And it sucked because the day that my water broke and I went into labor, I guess, my OBGYN was off that day. So I kind of just got the run of the doctors that were at the hospital at that time, and they were all very nice. They were not pushy, like, for me to have a C-section. I told them that I wanted to have them vaginally, and they were okay with that. So we just kind of waited, and I was at 2 centimeters, I believe, when we went into the hospital, and I hardly moved for the next 24 hours. And then I got the epidural, and at 8 o'clock in the morning the next day, I started to get a fever just because I had been in labor so long and had the epidural. So the doctor was like, you know what, it's time to have a C-section. So I agreed to it. We signed the paperwork, and within the next half an hour, the girls were delivered. Their weights were good sizes. Violet was 6 pounds 2 ounces, and Grace was 7 pounds. So they were good sized twins. We didn't have to go to the NIC. We were at the hospital for, I think, 3 days total, and that was just because I had a C-section. Question number 6. Bottle or breast? Did you feed them both at the same time? So breastfeeding was a disaster. I really wanted to do it. I thought I did. I was very naive going into it, and as I think most mothers are, I didn't do a lot of research on breastfeeding. I kind of was just like, it's natural, it's gonna happen, and that was that. I bought the twin breastfeeding pillow and everything. More I looked up breastfeeding twins than I did actual breastfeeding, and my milk didn't come in right away. I was pumping, and the girls were just not latching, and it was really hard. My husband took 2 weeks off, and then he went back to work, so I didn't have that constant help, and trying to tandem breastfeed them, even just breastfeeding one when you have another one to tend to, was just chaotic for me. It was stressful, I was miserable, and I just felt like such a failure of a mother when I couldn't do it, and which is really sad. I think there's just so much pressure on new mothers to breastfeed. I ended up deciding that we were going to try formula and bottles, and because I couldn't even pump enough to bottle feed them with my breast milk. So we got the formula and started that, and that was also a disaster because Grace had reactions to it, and yeah, so we had a lot of different formulas that we were trying, and I wanted the girls to be on the same formula because I know I've heard of twins having they're on different formulas, and I did not want that. So I think it took about 3 weeks for us to actually get a good formula and that the girls not having any reactions to it. And then it was kind of smooth sailing. Did I feed them at the same time? I actually hated that. Like I would dread if I had to feed them at the same time. It worked out that like at night feedings, one would wake up, and just as I was done feeding that one, the next one would wake up. So we were really lucky with that. It was very rare that we had to get up at the same time to feed them, because if I did, I usually would get my husband to help me, just because it was just so hard to feed them at the same time. But there were times when they would both be hungry, and I would just plop them up on our couch, like right here, and I would just hold the bottles and they would figure it out and we would get it done. But yeah, for the most part, we were feeding them separate. And then around, I want to say around 8 months, they started holding their own bottles, which was amazing. Question number 7. Are they on the same schedule? Yes. And I worked really hard, and I would suggest if you are having twins, this should be like your main priority, is to get them on the same schedule. I would not know how you would manage if they weren't. You would always be doing like constant, like you'd be doing changing diaper, feeding, them napping, and then just the next one. Like it would just be chaotic. So like they kind of fell into it themselves. I didn't really have to like push it that they'd be on the same schedule. Like I guess if one was sleeping, I would just get the other one to sleep too. And like feedings, they would like eat around the same time. Like they were off like maybe by 10 minutes. But yeah, they are still to this day on the same schedule, and they were like right from the go. Question number 8. What do you do when both babies are crying? I go get my wine. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I don't, like, when they were really little, they would both cry. Like, they would have their witching hour, and I have to admit, like, some days I felt like I was going to lose my mind. My husband would come home, and I would just have to go outside and sit outside. I know even him, like, even my husband would feel it. Like, when they both cry, you feel like you're going to lose your mind. There's not really anything you can do. You have to, like, find what comforts them and try to comfort them. We discovered their bouncy chairs, like, to bounce it with our foot, because we would just put the vibrator on it and that really did nothing. But then I found like how you bounce them, and we found that, and we would bounce them, and that would like soothe them. And as soon as we found that out, that's what we were doing like all of the time, was bouncing them in their bouncy chairs. So if they would both start crying, we put them both in the bouncy chairs and bounce them, or feed them. But like when they're babies and they're both crying, sometimes you would just have to let one cry. I know it's harder now when they're older if they're both crying, because I can't pick both of them up. So usually I like try to distract one of them. Like it's just getting them off whatever they're like mad about crying over, usually now that they're older. It's like, you know, one of them maybe hit each other, like they hit each other or something, and they both just start crying. And usually I like will give them a snack, and that'll calm them down, or some water or something. Like something to distract them usually works. And if I can get one calmed down, then I can tend to the other one. So that's just like my main goal when they're both crying, is to try to get one under control and then tend to the other one. Like the one that's like crying hysterically, that's more like hysterical, I'll pick up, and the other one I'll try to deal with and calm down somehow. Question number 9. What's your reaction to cliche questions? I guess this means like the cliche questions as, are they twins? Double the trouble questions. We don't get that many. We just get like, are they twins? Oh, that must be a lot of work. Like the most questions we ever get is, are they twins? And then I guess we get like identical, fraternal, but those aren't like, I don't know. And how do I deal with them? Like, or what's your reaction? At at the beginning, like I remember reading something where it says like being a twin parent, you'll feel like a celebrity because every time you go out, there's just like so many people that like come up to you and react to you. I know we've seen so many parents, like my husband laughs because he'll see so many like parents, like they'll watch us like, you know, like, oh my God, twins. We get that quite a bit. And it was more when they were little. I was just saying to my husband, it's nicer that they're older now, and we have the City Select double stroller. So you can't really tell that they're twins. It's just a double stroller and you see them all over the place. But when they were little in their bucket seats, you can totally tell that it's twins. And I just felt like we were like aliens, and people would just be like staring at us like, oh my God, you know? And I at some points I didn't like, sometimes I didn't even want to go out because I didn't even want to deal with it. I didn't want everyone to know that we had twins, and I don't know, that was just more me. The reaction to the questions, like I just kind of, before it was fun and, you know, we'd answer them, and now going out, it's kind of like I just want to avoid them, and like I'll just answer them like very yes, no, and that's pretty much it. But we haven't had really any like rude questions. People have been very nice to us. It's more like older people that just like love to see babies, and it's really cute, and I just like, I can't get mad at it, and I love the girls so much that like I'm happy that people want to talk to us and ask about them. I think it's fun, and I don't know, they're adorable. So I'm like, maybe this is just me because I'm their mom, but I feel good when like people come up to us and like talk to us about them. Number 10, last question. Any advice for new moms of twins? I would say take everything with a grain of salt, if that's the saying, the expression. Like, don't take anything too seriously. Enjoy the time. It's chaotic and it's hectic having twins, but it does get easier as the days go on. Just take every day by day.